Hello and welcome to The Guardian. I hope you're having a great day. And it has been a good week for President Trump and also for all of President Trump's supporters. And I've been watching the results coming in from New Hampshire tonight. But I do want to mention this first. If you have not already subscribed to the channel, I would encourage you to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out as far as getting around the algorithm. YouTube doesn't like our conservative message. And so they're not going to want it to get out. And so I would encourage you to go ahead and subscribe. And Donald Trump is going to be your winner in New Hampshire. And man, last I checked, he was up 20 after 27% reporting. He was up over double digits, up over 10%. So that's really good. And so I've been saying this from the beginning, and I hope people are starting to catch on. But your vote does count. And people don't think their vote counts, but your vote does, in fact, count. And so let's remember that, especially as we're getting ready to get into after we get through with these primaries and getting into the general election, your vote's really going to count. And that's where we, the people, must step up, and we must do everything that we possibly can to make sure that the vote gets out. I want to talk a little bit about this tonight. I wrote an article about this, and I put it on the website, and I want to do a show, several shows, talking about this particular subject, but looking at a candidate through the lens of a conservative. You know, all of us know people, who run for office, and I know several people that are running for office right now, and I know a lot of people that will run for office next year. Where next year is going to be in Mississippi is going to be state elections. It's going to be elections for cities and councilmen. And then a lot of people will run 2026 and then 2027 again. And so, whenever you're looking at these candidates, what do you look for? What do you look at whenever you're going to go and exercise your right to vote? What are you looking at, as far as the candidate and as far as the person? I wrote an article, and this is 4 pages here, and I've got several other pages. I just put the first part on the website. There's a whole nother part. It's just the beginning. There's about 3 or 4 parts, before this is over. And tonight's the first video. So I'm not going to be able to get through all of it tonight. But the first thing that you need to look at, whenever it comes to vetting a candidate, and let me just read this. Vetting a candidate for a political office, particularly from a conservative perspective, involves assessing their alignment with conservative values, policy positions, and the ability to effectively represent those values. And so it's what are their values? What do they believe about things that we as conservatives that we hold dear, to our heart? So the first thing, these are in no particular order. It's just important that I cover all of these. The first thing is limited government. When we send people to the Capitol in our states, and we send people, and we send people to the Capitol there in D.C., the men and women that we send there, they do not need to go there with the mindset of wanting to grow government. We don't need more government. In my opinion, we need less government. We need government to get out of the way. I was talking the other day about taxes, and I was trying to explain taxes, to my 16-year-old son. And my wife and I were talking, and I had my children in the back, and I said, let me explain to you taxes. Okay, my son just started working at Chick-fil-A. I said, so you're going to go to work, and you're going to work 20 hours a week. That's what he's working at Chick-fil-A. He's making right at $10 an hour. So you're going to work, and you're going to make $10 an hour on 20 hours. That's $200, and you're going to pay taxes on that $200. So you're not going to bring home $200, and they're going to take their taxes out. You're going to leave with that check. You're going to go to your bank. You're going to deposit that check into your checking account, and you're going to have that. Let's just say $180. Okay, we're just going to play simple math. 10 hours or 20 hours, $10 an hour, $200. You bring home $180. You paid taxes on that $200 already. You take that $180 and you go back to Chick-fil-A, and you're going to buy a number one. That is their number one crispy chicken sandwich, and you're going to pay taxes. So that $200 that you made at Chick-fil-A that you pay taxes on now is $180. You're going to go back and you're going to buy a number one, and you're going to pay like $1.20 in taxes. You're going to spend about $10, or $11, however much they are now, and then you're going to pay taxes on that. So now that $180, you're paying taxes again for that Chick-fil-A sandwich. And so now you have $160 left. You just paid $20 on taxes. You just paid another $1.80 on taxes on this chicken sandwich. So you leave from there and you go over to Shoe Carnival. And there's a pair of shoes that you want. And these shoes are $50. And you're going to pay a 7%, or just make it easy, you're going to pay a 10% tax. So now you pay that 10% tax on that $50, and that's $5 in taxes. So you already paid $20 in taxes. You already paid $1.80 in taxes. That's $21.80. You just paid $5 more in taxes. That's $21, and that's $26 now that it's $26.80 that you're paying in taxes. Now you have about $110, $120 or so left. So then you leave from there, and you go over to the mall, and you're going to buy a new jacket. You're going to spend $40 on this new jacket. You're going to pay a 7% tax on this jacket. So you're going to pay what, $2.80 on taxes again on money that you've already paid. So you worked. Listen to me. Try to follow me. And I'm just doing these numbers in my head. So you worked 20 hours, you made $10 an hour, you paid $20 in taxes. You made $200, you brought home $180, you already paid $20 in taxes. You paid $1.80 in taxes on the Chick-fil-A sandwich. You paid $5 in taxes on the pair of shoes that you wanted, and you paid $2.80 on the jacket that you wanted. So that's $2.80 plus the $1.80. So that's $3.80, that's $4.60. And then the $5 you paid in taxes, that's $9.60. And then the $20 you paid, so that's $29 that you've already paid in taxes on that $200. So now you're up to, you only made $170 because you done paid $30 in taxes. And this goes on until that $200 is gone and you done paid taxes on multiple other things. You paid taxes on the $200, you paid taxes on the Chick-fil-A sandwich, you paid taxes on the shoes, and you paid taxes on the jacket. That is just getting started. You haven't paid property tax yet, which my property tax is about $2,300. You haven't bought a car tag yet. My car tag, I don't know how much it's going to be, but yes, just say another $100. My point is, we pay unbelievable amount of taxes. It's crazy the amount of taxes that we pay. Gas, I get gas every single day almost. The amount of driving that I do, 18 cents a gallon in gas. So for every gallon, and that's not determined by how much the gas is. If gas is $3, 18 cents goes to a state gas tax. If it's $1, 18 cents. So my point is, we pay an unbelievable amount of taxes. And how much, I don't know this off the top of my head, but whenever the Boston Tea Party happened and they threw the tea into the Boston Bay or whatever you want to call it, they did that for a very small amount of tax. That's why they call it the Boston Tea Party, because they were having to pay taxes. We need to send men and women to our capitals and to D.C. who wants to get rid of some of these taxes. It is unbelievable at the amount, and I'm going to say that again, it's unbelievable at the amount of taxes that we are paying. It's insane. And we need to get rid of some of these taxes. We need to eliminate some of these taxes. I know in Mississippi, last session, they worked to eliminate the state income tax, and they eliminated a good portion of it. And this session, from what I understand, they're going to work to eliminate more of the state income tax. And they're going to continue to do that until the state income tax is gone here in Mississippi. I think that's a good thing. I think that's a great thing. I'm always for the people being able to keep more and more of their own money. Listen, if you make $200, and I'm just using $200 because I use Chick-fil-A. My son works at Chick-fil-A, 16 years old. I think he's doing very well, and he's at work, right now. But my point is, I want people to be able to keep as much as that $200 as they possibly can, because whenever they take taxes out of your check, that is not the last bit of taxes that you're going to pay on that money. When you go to Chick-fil-A, you're going to pay taxes again. When you go to the store and buy groceries, you're going to pay taxes again in a lot of states. In Mississippi, we're going to pay taxes on our groceries. Whenever you go get gas, you're going to pay taxes. So every single place you go, you're going to get taxes. And so you're paying and you're buying things and you're paying tax with money that's already been taxed. And so the amount of taxes that you're going to pay on that $200 is a lot more than just $20, because everywhere you go, every place you go and spend money, you're paying taxes. And to me, it shouldn't be that way. And so I would love to see, I'm glad that they're working on eliminating the state income tax, because that will allow you and I and everyone to keep more of their money, which is a good thing. And so whenever you're going to vote for somebody, you're going to vet for someone, you want to ask them about this limited government. And if they don't want to get rid of taxes, well, my friend, they're not for limited government. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that want to increase taxes, especially on, corporations. They want to increase the amount of taxes. Excuse me. They want to increase the amount of taxes that they're paying, but that is all going to get pushed to the consumer. So, and I don't understand how they don't see this, but let's just play with numbers here. Say you have a corporation and they're going to make $100, right? And then on that $100, they're going to have to pay $40. For every 100 they make, they got to pay $40. Who do you think at the end of the day is going to pay for that $40? That's going to be passed on to you and I. The corporation is not going to lose money. Those CEOs are not going to lose money. They're going to pass that right on to us. So instead of us paying $100 for something, they're going to raise that price up, and we're going to be paying $140 for that product, so it can cover their taxes. And so I do not want to be raising taxes. If anything, we need to be cutting taxes and eliminating taxes, and the list goes on and on and on with the amount of taxes that we're paying. So when you go to vet a candidate and you go to talk to somebody, you need to ask them. You need to remind them. You need to say, "Listen, my vote counts. My vote counts. And if you want me to vote for you, buddy, then we better be talking about eliminating some of these taxes." And we, the people, we need to push back and fight back and say, no more of these taxes. Let's get rid of some of these taxes. And let me just stop and just say this right here. I am very thankful. I am very thankful for the men and women that we have, whether in Jackson, whether in Baton Rouge, whether in Washington, D.C., but they are for eliminating taxes, and I thank them. And we need to be pushing, and we need to be letting them know that there are some men and women that are standing in their corner that are supporting them. Now, we might not agree on every single issue, and that can be fine. I can absolutely support them in the sense of, let's eliminate some of these taxes. And so let's work together on that. And so that is part of that limited government, getting rid of some of these taxes. There's another thing you need to ask whenever it comes to vetting a candidate. You need to ask, I like what let me read this about limited government. George Washington said this. He said, "The basis of our political systems is the right of the people to make and to alter their constitutions of government." Boy, I like that. I like that. Let's talk about individual liberties. What is the definition of individual liberties? It prioritizes the protection of individual freedoms, including free speech, religious liberty, and the right to bear arms. You say, well, this is America. Everybody is for free speech. No, they're not. No, they're not. A lot of people is for free speech as long as it's okay for them to say what they want to say. But the moment that you disagree with them, they're not for free speech. Look at a lot of our social media platforms. You get on there and start talking about conservative issues. You start talking about pro-life, and you start talking about you're pro-Second Amendment, and you start talking about how you're pro-Constitution, and you start talking about how you're pro-family, you're for one man, one woman. You start talking about how you are against this transgender movement. Some of you are not going to like it, and I'm going to get a lot more hate mail, and that'll be all right. But you start talking about that, and you're going to have people start screaming at the top of their lungs. They'll start sending you messages, and saying and cursing you out upside down the other. And all I can say to you is this: we're going to keep standing for individual liberty, whether you like it or not. My freedom of speech is not determined whether or not you like it. My freedom of speech is not determined by whether or not it hurts your feelings. If it hurts your feelings, get over it. I'm going to keep speaking truth. I'm not going to back off of my freedom of speech because it might hurt your feelings. And if you don't like that, then unsubscribe or don't watch anymore. That's how I feel about that. That's my freedom of speech. And we need more men and women that stand up to this left-wing woke liberal agenda and say enough is enough. We're not going to have this on our watch. You're not going to brainwash our children. It's not happening. It ain't happening today, and it's not happening tomorrow. We're going to stand for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness how we see it. And listen, you do what you want to do. I mean, hey, if you want to go bark like a dog and dress like a cat and look like a rat, if that's what you want to do, then you go forward and have at it. But don't come in our schools and try to brainwash our children and teaching them some this is science, that there's 200 genders. Well, your science is wrong. There's only 2 genders, one male, one female. That's it. There's 2 genders. There's not 4 or 5 or 100 genders. It's just 2 genders. You're either male or female. And if you don't know which one you are, go ask your mama and she can help you. But you better vet these people. You better vet them. Hey, where do you stand on individual liberty? Where do you stand on my freedom of speech? Okay, if I'm a baker, do I have to bake a cake that I don't want to bake? Can I say no? It should be my right. It should be my freedom. It should be my liberty to say no. I'm a pastor of a church. I should have the right to say, I'm not going to perform a wedding for anyone that goes against my beliefs. And I'm not going to. I'm not going to perform a wedding. It's not going to happen because I have that right. Now, and let me just say this, that another person, if they want to marry whoever they want to marry, that's on them. I can choose who I want to marry, who I don't want to marry. All I'm saying is we have that right, and I have that right. Listen, if you want to go make a video and talk about how you think it's okay to be transgender, I'm not going to come on your page and say anything. You have the right to do that, and I have the right to say you're crazy. That there's only two genders, and you have the right to do what you want, and I have the right to do what I want. That's just how it is. But you better vet these candidates and make sure that they stand for individual liberty. Where do you stand when it comes to the Second Amendment? A well-regulated militia shall not be infringed upon. You have no right to come in my home and take any of my guns if I have one. You have no right, and I have no right to come in your house. But I also have no right to tell you that you have to have a gun. If you want a gun, you get one. If you don't want a gun, don't get one. It's plain and simple. I choose to maybe have one or two, and you might choose not to have one or two. I think you at least ought to have four. I think you need a good hunt rifle. I think you need a good shotgun. I think you need a good AR, and I think you need a good pistol. I think those four guns, I wrote an article about it the other day. You're talking about making liberals' heads explode. Good, great day in the morning. You'd have thought, I mean, the amount of hate mail that I got off that one was just crazy. But at the end of the day, we're just going to keep standing for liberty. We're going to stand for liberty. I'm going to stand for your liberty. And I'm going to stand for my liberty. If you want to get a gun, get one. If you don't want to get a gun, don't get one. I think you at least need four. That's just my opinion. So anyway, let's move on to the next. Free market capitalism. Oh, now this is a very touchy subject here. I love the free market. I like the free market. You know, I don't think that I have the right to tell you that you can or can't start a business. I think let the market play out. The market will take care of itself. And the definition is it advocates for a market-driven economic system with minimal government intervention, promoting competition, innovation, and economic growth. And whenever you let the free market play out, it is unbelievable to happen. Look at the United States of America today. Look at this place. That is because of excuse me, that is because of free market. Man, you don't look at the things that people are coming up with. Look how smart people are. You know, people are smart, and they're coming up with all kind of creative and just good ideas. They're innovators, and it is because of the free market. I see restaurants, you know, where people are coming up with ideas using these trailers and coming up with restaurants, and they're coming up with all of these like little motel rooms with these containers. And I mean, just people are, I mean, there's all kind of different ideas and things that people are coming up with because this country, the United States of America, we push the free market. Excuse me. We push the free market. And so, which is very important. So whenever you vet these candidates, make sure that they are for the free market. Thomas Jefferson said this. He said, "A wise and frugal government, which shall restrain men from injuring one another, shall leave them otherwise free to regulate their own pursuits of industry and improvement." And so, I mean, you have to just rewind and listen to that again. The next thing, whenever you're vetting a candidate, traditional family values. Traditional family values. I'm going to mention this one and one more, and then I'm going to be done. I mentioned this a while ago, and the reason why I don't want to get into this a whole lot in depth is because I just talked about, you know, the family values just a few moments ago whenever I was talking about marriage. And you need to have candidates and people that are running for office that stand on traditional marriage. And listen, I know I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but that'll be okay. I believe in two genders, and I believe marriage is between a man and a woman. That's what I believe. I believe that marriage is between one man and one woman. I believe that's important for you and I to understand whenever it comes to marriage. And the values, the importance of traditional family structures and social institutions, often emphasizing the role of family in society. It's important. It's important to have dad in the home. It's important to have mom in the home. I like what Benjamin Franklin said. He said, a nation is made great not by its buildings or its wealth, but by the character of its people and the nobility of its ideals. Benjamin Franklin said that. Lastly, and I'll stop here when you're talking about vetting a candidate, talk to them about pro-life. Are they a pro-life candidate? Do they stand for the life of the unborn? That's important. That's important. To me, if they don't stand for life, I will not help them at all. I will not vote for them. I refuse to vote for a candidate that is not pro-life. I will always stand for life. Always. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching The Guardian. I really appreciate it. If you have not already subscribed to the channel, please do so. And please subscribe. It helps us. It helps us with the algorithm. Like, comment. All of those things help us out 100%. Once again, thanks for watching The Guardian. Thanks for tuning in. God bless you, and God bless the great United States of America.